world's two largest economies and as each other's most important trading partners, we spend a lot of time focusing on how we can continue to grow our economies and create good jobs on both sides of the Atlantic. A large part of that conversation obviously revolved around the Eurozone crisis, and Presidents Van Rompuy and Barroso have been very actively engaged with the heads of government and heads of state in Europe to try to resolve this crisis. I communicated to them that the United States stands ready to do our part to help them resolve this issue. This is of huge importance to our own economy.
And welcome back. Joining us now in another CNBC exclusive to share his thoughts on the international financial system, what's right, what needs to change, Sir Evelyn D. Rothschild. Evelyn, nice to have you on the program. Thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
You know, I read your op-ed and I thought it was so apropos in this period, and you went through all of the people who are to blame for what has gone on, and this is a broad group. Can you take us through your observations, given the fact that we've seen this a global situation? Of course, Gordon Brown in Britain was very quick to take a stand and try and offer solutions.
Well, I think hindsight, as some people say, is an exact science. I don't believe that there's time talking to you to go through the past. I think what I'm interested in how we deal with the present and go for the future. And I think that, if I may say so, I think the Group of 20 meeting was very important, because it brought out the realization that we're all in this together. And I think Gordon Brown did a remarkable job in pointing out that you have to have action, and the action needed to be taken very quickly.
Just as the Vatican has its own postal service, police and fire department, so it also has its own bank. It's a means of ensuring the Holy See's independence, to avoid financial speculation with the Church's money, and to save costs for dioceses and religious orders. Its official name is IOR, or the Institute for Works of Religion. This is a unique bank. It only makes ethical investments, their profits go to charity, and their customers are dioceses, religious orders, and Vatican departments and employees.
The
IOR is a very sui generis bank that was created in 1942 by Pope Pius XII. According to its statutes, it can only receive deposits from Vatican officials, religious congregations, local clergy and other people like that. A year ago, Benedict XVI appointed Italian Ettore Gotti Tedeschi as the new president of the Bank of the Vatican. He asked him to make the bank completely transparent, that is, adapt it to European laws that require customers to identify all operations.
Vatican calls for Central World Bank to be set up. Pontifical Council for Justice and Peace in a document called Towards Reforming the International Financial and Monetary Systems in the Context of a Global Public Authority. Yes, they're calling for a new global economic authority and a central world bank to be run by the UN, under which Tony Blair now enriches himself around the world.
I mean, to think that the Pope is coming out and saying to the Vatican, oh, there should be a world bank, because everything that's caused millions to die is centralization of financial authority in too big to fail institutions. So here you have the Vatican saying, let's create an even bigger too big to fail institution to create more murder, more assassinations, more war. This guy is completely inconsistent with anything that philosophically or theologically speaking that he says he represents. There's no connection.
And CNBC Max here says it should be music to the ears of Occupy Wall Street demonstrators and similar movements around the world who have protested against the economic downturn. First of all, we are not protesting against the economic downturn. We are protesting fraud, against banking fraud.
Occupy Vatican! Occupy Vatican!
It's a global insurrection against banker occupation. We're not saying who cares if the economic downturn. This is economic collapse caused by financial fraud unchecked.
Yeah, plus the Vatican Bank is one of the most corrupt banks in the world. It's as corrupt as Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. It's as corrupt as HSBC. It's as corrupt as any big bank.
Well, I think he was concerned about Steven Schwartzman and Lloyd Blankfein getting in on this God game, trying to wrap Goldman Sachs and all these private
That's right. Lloyd Blankfein said he's doing God's work.
Yeah.
The Pope's like, no, wait a minute. I got the big hat.
This is Sky News with Paula Middlehurst.
Well, there have been extraordinary scenes in Berlin tonight as thousands of people gathered to hear Barack Obama deliver key foreign policy speech on his current European tour. The Democratic presidential hopeful laid out his vision for America's place in a new world order, saying he was speaking as a proud citizen of the United States and a fellow citizen of the world.
The view that America is part of what has gone wrong in our world, rather than a force to help us make it right, has become all too common. Yes, there have been differences between America and Europe. No doubt there will be differences in the future. But the burdens of global citizenship continue to bind us together. A change of leadership in Washington will not lift this burden. In this new century, Americans and Europeans alike will be required to do more, not less. Partnership and cooperation among nations is not a choice. It is the only way, the one way, to protect our common security and advance our common humanity.